Hey, welcome to Writer's Talk. I'm Christopher Muldong. I'm an aspiring author, and you can check out my author's website at www.chrismuldong.com. I just put up some new stories for sale. They're mainly short story collections. You can check out blogs, free short stories, and stuff that's coming soon. Today, with this writer's talk, I'd like to actually talk about short stories. I like submit a lot of my works to short story contests and whatnot. And the reason for that is time. I do have a full time job with a lot of stuff going on. I have a really hard time being able to network or really build up my resume and portfolio. So what I've done is go through the short story circuit, I suppose. I've lost a lot more than I've won, but short stories have actually really taught me a lot of things. One, I just competed for one, or I submitted a work for one. It was 8,000 words, um, and I didn't place. And it's going to be more common not to place than placing. The first time I placed, I was pretty happy. And also, what was kind of cool about when I did place, and it was third place in this one short fantasy short story contest. And what's cool about that is I've been doing these short stories for a while, and it's I wasn't really getting anywhere. And it's just nice to know that. But I kept working on it because I find these short story contests to be something of a way of experimenting and just practicing too. It's nice because one, you have a deadline and then you have a word count. So it's oh, I have to do 2,000 words in 2 weeks or something like that for this contest. So I'm always making up new stories, or not all. A lot of times I'm making up new short stories for these contests. A lot of them will be different genres too. So some of them don't like genre fiction. And what's cool about that is I usually write fantasy. So I remember there was two short story contests I did um, that were not genre, or three of them that were not genre fiction. So I had to really think okay, well, what do I know? One of them was about corporate America, and the other was about my friends and this experience I've had with underachievers. So you get to really work on different genres there. You also get to you'd also want to use this opportunity just to experiment. I remember one story I did, homesickness. I worked on dialogue because a lot of the fancy stuff, it doesn't take place in the real world. So I wasn't using real world dialogue and using that type of wit or whatnot that you'd utilize in like fantasy or in certain types of genre fiction. Sometimes I'll play with point of view. I'll just do first person with this story or third person with that story and whatnot. Sometimes I'll just focus on things like mood, atmosphere, dialogue, of course, characterization. I generally start with characters first before and guiding the character through the story. Some people do it differently. They start with the story, the plot, and whatnot. I usually have a character and I move him around. That's usually my approach to writing. Um, but yeah, the thing with these contests, like I said, you don't know who's judging them. You don't know the mood they're going to be as they're judging them. You don't really know what they're looking for either. So it's one of those things that I've kind of learned, and this goes with sending query letters to literary agents too. It's you just don't know. I mean, honestly, you can write the best that you can. That's really all I can think of that you can do. You know, and hope that the person reading your story likes this story. Um, the other thing is, geez, I just lost my train of thought. I was going to say something. Besides not getting discouraged, it's eesh, I totally lost my train of thought there. Um, but yeah, just for me, at the very least, a lot of people, I know from what I read, a lot of people say just don't get discouraged. I mean, I'll get discouraged like for that day. It's like, oh, I didn't win this contest. And I really liked what I wrote. But it's not necessary a judge of you as a writer per se. You know, it is nice though, like to win these things though, and to be published in like some sort of even a small magazine or something. One thing I notice and is that when you write a story, most of your friends or family are gonna uh, review it and be really positive about it. That's where I wanted to go with it. But like by winning these things, because I have like three stories that are out there. I have like two of them that are in like Oval magazine, one that won Caladria's short story contest. Um, it's just nice to know that someone that's not your friend, that doesn't have any real bias one way or the other towards you, likes your stuff. Um, and it just goes to show that, hey, you know, other people actually like what you write. That's kind of a nice feeling, I gotta say. And that you might actually be doing something right with this whole writing thing. So, yeah, that's pretty much it as far as all I can talk about with short stories. I actually have a lot of them. I have a bunch of short story collections for sale on my website at www.chrismuldong.com. They're all collections of different genres and whatnot, so check those out. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode of Writer Stock. Thank you very much.